It's about being a warrior. It doesn't matter about the cause necessarily. This is your path, and you will pursue it with excellence. You face your fear because your goal demands it. That is the goddamn warrior spirit. I think that the free-souling mentality is pretty close to warrior culture, where you give something 100% focus because your life depends on it.
I was just a dude living in my van, I was like single, living in a little white box, like sort of wondering what I was doing with my life. I mean, I was obviously very driven with climbing and trying my hardest and doing the best I could and all that, but you're also kind of like, man, I live alone in a van, and I have for the last decade. You're like, like, what am I doing? I'm like, it is really simple when you're just by yourself in a car. But that's just not something you want to do for your entire life. It's something that's like amazing for a portion of your life as you're sort of like pursuing a certain type of passion, but you're like, you wouldn't want to be doing that when you're 70. You'd be like, this is a little bit lonely.
When was the last time most people were actually afraid? Like when's the last time people faced actual fear, particularly physical danger, like anything where they could actually get hurt?
What should they experience?
Because I think that if you don't experience real fear from time to time, you don't experience real danger and other things, then your mind just sort of creates fears out of nothing.
People can be as scared as they want, but ultimately it doesn't change the likelihood of me falling off. It doesn't change the consequences of me falling off. No matter how scared everybody else is, it doesn't change whether or not I can actually do the thing that I'm setting out to do. So to some extent, you just set it all aside. But obviously, when your friends are really scared for you, I value their opinions, and certainly my peers, other professional climbers, if some of the people whose opinions I really respect are horrified for me, then I'm like, well, maybe I'll rethink it. But at a certain point, only I can know how prepared I am, how I feel for it, and other people's, opinions don't really matter at that point.
Like, I see that, like, when I travel, like, when I'm in airports, I always hear people, like, stressing the travel experience, like, oh, what do we do with security? What do we do here? Like, what if we miss the flight? And you're like, chill. You're like, you're in a climate-controlled airport. There's food everywhere. There's abundance all around you. Like, if you show up 3 hours late, like, who cares? Like, how could you get so worked up about things that do not matter? And so I think that the more real experiences you have with real fear, real danger, things like that, the less likely you are to make mountains out of molehills, to worry about the stuff that doesn't matter.
I work to cultivate that mindset through visualization, which basically just means imagining the entire experience of soling the wall. Partially that was to help me remember all the holds, but mostly visualization was about feeling the texture of each hold in my hand and imagining the sensation of my leg reaching out and placing my foot.
Nothing good happens in the world by being happy and cozy. Like, nobody achieves anything great because they're happy and cozy.